Episode 740. The Jia dynasty was one of the arena victors. After watching the situation for a moment, they immediately moved to seize the spoils. And now, thanks to Samsara's meddling, it had spiraled into a mutually destructive deadlock. The other guilds had been watching up to this point, and now they decided to make some decisive moves of their own. They were sneaking off to check out the boss when Chunyi Lao, who had just been driven back, caught them red-handed. The guild leaders held back, waiting to see how Spring Elder would handle this. As it turned out, it wasn't all that hard. As long as you weren't completely unhinged like Samsara, an analysis like Spring's was still something people could accept. Seeing the players finally settle down, the guild leaders couldn't keep hiding any longer, and one by one stepped forward to speak for their guilds.
Brother Chunyi's words have merit, but the fact remains that the boss has been lured away. Are we just going to stand here and watch?
Tianan Singh of the Herbal Hall stepped forward and spoke.
Watch, you say? I don't think so. I refuse to believe that just because Chunyi Lao said not a single move, you all would actually stand there like obedient little statues. I imagine quite a few people have already slipped out to track the boss, haven't they? But as for people like that, my Blue Creek Pavilion doesn't have a single one. I do hope those who chase after it keep their eyes wide open so they can see clearly who ends up with this boss. If it's not too much trouble, it'd be best to record a video. My Blue Creek Guild will need it as proof. Much obliged.
The guild leaders fell silent once more, because Old Man Chunyi had guessed correctly. They weren't obedient enough to let Blue Creek Pavilion block them here. They had long since secretly sent people to track the target. As for the rest of what he said, no one took it seriously. It was just a gesture, nothing more. Even if Blue Creek Pavilion really did set this up, sending a team with their name on it to provide backup at this point would be pure idiocy. Even if it really was Blue Creek Pavilion people waiting for them, they'd be using burner accounts, and you can't exactly argue the fine points with a burner. The guild leaders' brains were spinning at full speed, churning out a dozen schemes per second. The situation before them made the boss fight feel irrelevant. This might just be their chance to cripple Blue Creek Pavilion. This was far more valuable than a few rare pieces of gear or materials from some wild boss.
And how do we do that?
Deploy the Blue Brook Guild's planted agents, then find a way to block and kill the reinforcements, creating the impression that no one dares to move in support of the boss. So it must be the Blue Brook Guild's people who are too afraid to act. The guild leaders were cooking up all sorts of malicious schemes. While over there, Samsara and the Jia dynasty were still going at it. No one even bothered to step in and mediate. These two are now the last ones fighting over the boss. Everyone's sick of them, hoping they'll wipe each other out for good.
Damn it, I finally snuck this boss out, but there's someone tailing me. You ready or what?
Meanwhile, Wei Chen sent a message to Ye Shu's Lord Grim.
Been waiting for you.
Yi Chu replied. For those two, their plan was simple. They genuinely had no intention of framing any guild or taking one down. Their goal was just to kill this boss and grab the materials they needed. Several players from the club guild sprinted ahead through the Poison Fang swamp, their sights locked on the fleeing swamp hunter rep being kited before them. This is the problem with wild bosses. Since they spawn randomly, they don't have a fixed lair. The entire Venom Swamp could be their hunting ground. So, if your kiting skills are sharp enough, you can lead the Swamp Hunter rep to any corner of the swamp you want. But of course, the difficulty was immense. If anyone could just drag a wild boss around safely and easily, wouldn't that mean every wild boss could be killed without a problem? So the three Blue Brook Guild players who had stolen the Marsh Hunter were in a real bind. They were exhausted from fending off the boss chasing them, and their escape speed was painfully slow. If anyone really wanted to catch them, they could be caught in no time. Yet the players from the various club guilds had each received different orders from their guild leaders. At this moment, not a single one of them was in a hurry to give chase. Instead, they all kept a steady, watchful pace, with part of their attention scanning the swamp for players from rival guilds.
If the opportunity arises, take them out. But remember, it must be done without exposing yourself at all.
The two Chinese herb hall players, Star Anise and Swordbean, kept the guild leader's instructions firmly in mind. Both had taken their character names from traditional Chinese medicine and were core members of the guild, so naturally they enjoyed the leader's high regard. One was an assassin, the other a ninja. Both classes specialized in stealth and assassination. The Poison Fang Swamp was a harsh, unforgiving place, exactly the kind of terrain where assassins and ninjas thrived. By now, the two of them were tracking the boss, but they had also secretly set their sights on a battle mage from Misty Rain Pavilion. A battle mage is a leather armor class, low on health and defense, but thanks to the unexpected chimes, their movement speed is high. The catch is, you have to attack a target to generate them. This battle mage had stirred up countless minor monsters along the way just to replenish his chime buffs. Downright arrogant and overbearing if you asked anyone. Whether it was the guild leader's instruction or not, this pursuit didn't really require much speed. The single-stage boost from a non-attribute chaser was hardly necessary.
Not good. He's way too conspicuous. Killing him might not get us spotted, but the two of us could be seen by someone else. That's risky, isn't it?
Star Anise was explaining this to Knifebean, but by then it was already too late to turn back, which was why Arizama had directly dispatched them for this mission. Even if they hid their guild titles, the names Octagon and Knifebean gave them away immediately. Even if the names didn't give them away, the enemy's spies in your guild roster could cross-reference and match them perfectly. So Tianan Singh made a deal with them. If this got exposed, he'd leave the guild automatically.
Let's not deal with him for now. Switch targets, switch targets.
Daodu agreed with Bajiao's assessment. The two were about to move when a flash of fire erupted in their field of vision, right from beneath the Misty Rain battle mage's feet. The two veterans knew at a glance they'd stepped right into a thief's fire trap. The club guild's elites were quick on their feet. The moment the battle mage hit the trap, he reacted instantly with a backflip. He still took some damage, but standing there and letting it burn would have been far worse. This flame trap didn't restrict movement, but it dealt heavy, sustained damage. The battle mage dodged, but that initial step had already triggered a self-immolation effect. Flames still licked at his body, his health ticking down from the ongoing damage, but it was far from lethal. The battle mage, ambushed, snapped to high alert. He spun a full 360, his gaze sweeping the area, startling Bajiao and Daodu into ducking their heads again. When they poked their heads back up, the battle mage had already retreated to the base of a tree, his back pressed against the trunk to avoid being surrounded. But above him, a ninja emerged silently from behind the tree, sliding down with a stealth technique active. Just as it was about to land, it suddenly dropped. The battle mage sensed a flicker of movement, but had no time to react. A ninja descended from above, catching him off guard with a back-mounted chokehold that twisted his body off balance. Then, another assassin came charging in from a different direction, unleashing a blade dripping with killing intent. Octagonal immediately recognized it, the assassin's most dreaded ultimate technique, the death blow.